A warm welcome to everyone. This is the second part of the extension activity we have planned as part of Media Meet 2020. Media Meet 2020 is the flagship academic conference of the Department of Media Studies, Christ deemed to be University. I would like to invite Alex Joseph, sir, to introduce our esteemed guest today. Alex, sir, over to you.
Thank you, Kailash sir. Uh, First of all, I thank Dayananda sir for accepting our invitation to handle this session on cyber security. Dayananda sir, he is presently working as Additional Director General of Police, Intelligence Wing, Government of Karnataka. Prior to this, he was working as Inspector General of Police, Economic Offences, CID Bengaluru, then Central Range Bengaluru, Eastern Range Davangere, State Intelligence, Commissioner for Transport and Road Safety Karnataka State, then Commissioner of Police Mysore City, Additional Commissioner of Police Traffic Bengaluru City, and also Joint Commissioner of Police Bengaluru City. He is a tech savvy cop who started one of the world's first police blog in 2005 while working as Superintendent of Police, Dakshin Kannada district. For this innovative approach, he has been awarded E-Governance Award for Innovation in 2006 at the International Conference on E-Governance held at New Delhi in the year 2006. He is the recipient of President's Police Medal for Meritorious Service in 2011, then United Nations Medal for World Peacekeeping during 2003-4, and Chief Minister's Gold Medal in 1998-99. Once again, Dayanand sir, thank you very much for accepting our invitation, and over to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that nice introduction. First of all, I'm extremely glad that this session is being held with the parents of the students of your esteemed university. Since all the parents are there, we would like to emphasize the need for social media discipline, need for social media, proper social media protocol amongst the young generation, which need to be inculcated. One thing I would like to make clear in the beginning of the session itself is many times the word cyber security and cyber crimes are generally used interchangeably, but both have different meanings technically. Cyber security is security of the systems, whatever are there. It could be servers, it could be simple laptops or even mobile phone also. The security of those kind of electronic devices becomes cyber security. Cyber law or cyber crime is crimes committed in the cyber world with the use of digital or online things, or even any crime in which a mobile phone or electronic device is used for the commission of an offense. Generally, cyber crime and cyber law is applied. Cyber law is that area in which it prescribes certain offenses and punishments in the cyber world. So these three words, cyber security, cyber law, cyber crime, generally are used to mean the same thing, but technically there are a lot of differences. So as I've already explained, the coronavirus situation has a very significant impact on our behavior, on our work, on our life, on our everyday, day-to-day activities. And this has led to a kind of a new normal, we could say. So lockdown means people are spending more time online. Students are at home, schools are closed, colleges are closed. So therefore, they are generally, most of the times, they are using these electronic devices, gadgets for various things. Not only social media, but also even online gaming. These kind of things they are involving. And this, the criminals also know that people have a lot of time and they are into these kind of activities. And they also have a lot of time because they are also free and they are also immobilized. So they are trying. They generally are using this time for their own benefit. Now, information and communication technology, all of us know that we are living in a world which has become inevitable aspect of our life, and it has in a way transformed our life, the way we communicate, the way we make friends, the way we share our updates, play games, do shopping, and so on and so forth. Lot of activities we are doing on the digital platform. These are some of the things which we have observed during the lockdown period. A board student hacked his school systems. Police team derails tram after hacking train network. 17-year-old student hacks Apple system to get a job. Started doing this since he was 13. So the youngsters of today, they are extremely tech savvy, and they understand technology very fast, and they pick up the things very fast. A lot of tools and technologies are available freely online, and they can make use of them, and they may just for sheer boredom, they may try to do certain things, which may, you know, because of that one, they may end up in problems later. It is seen that 1 in 8 young people have been bullied on social media. That is what we call cyberbullying. This has been happening in the peer group of the youngsters, especially teenagers, or sometimes even young adults in the age group of 18 to 25. So this is just a caution that please be aware. At least people should be aware that there is such a thing happening in the world. Online sexual exploitation, cyberbullying, these kind of things are happening even earlier to pandemic lockdown also. But post lockdown, these things have become more prominent. What are the effects of this cyberbullying? How it affects the psychology of the students or the teenagers or youngsters? These are some of the things which they start showing. Uh, they may start abusing alcohol or drugs, develop eating disorders, skipping classes, stop using social media altogether, or engage in self-harm, deleted their social media profiles, had social suicidal thoughts, developed depression, developed social anxiety. These are some of the things because of which can have an impact of the cyberbullying impact on the youngsters. As I already said, young children are very vulnerable to these pedophiles. This online child pornography is a major concern for the entire world, not only for India but even for across the globe. This has become a major concern. There are pedophiles crawling on the internet, crawling on the cyber world, and who try to you know, uh, uh, try to groom or try to capture some of these children, young adults, and nurture them, and then slowly and gradually expose them to sexual content and use them for their pleasure, which subsequently will have a lot of serious psychological and other impact on the children. Cyber grooming is where they groom the children and take them into confidence slowly and gradually. They start chatting with the use of some social media and develop confidence with the children. And slowly and gradually, they take them into their clutches and use them, sometimes exploit them, sometimes blackmail them for various sexual activities, be it online or even physical also. Many such cases have been reported across the world, which we will come across. This is one fake TikTok Pro app, which is not available, but it is available at this URL, and it is our request that we should be extremely cautious that people, your children or your adult children also should not get trapped by these kind of things. I would specifically, as I said, specifically discuss issues in which cybercrimes targeted towards children. Now, most of the parents whose children are studying in Christ University may be slightly above the age group of 15 or 18, but still they are also vulnerable for these type of cybercrimes. Therefore, we are focusing more on these cybercrimes which are generally targeted towards children or young adults. One is simple things like hacking, identity theft, cyber stalking, cyberbullying, defamation. These are some of the simple things, but the major things is child pornography, grooming them for child pornography or online sexual exploitation, online child trafficking, online extortion, violation of privacy. These are some of the things which the youngsters can be targeted for. Now, what is hacking? Hacking is just unauthorized access to a computer system communication device, such as a mobile phone, without the permission of the owner. Just a simple scenario could be a 13-year-old boy contacted by a hacker on some social media. The hacker uses a malware and introduces keylogger, and through that keylogger, when the boy accesses certain things, the other person can capture his ID and password, and then he will use that one for his own purpose, be it maybe he may delete his account itself, or he can do a lot of damage on this. All these things, there are remedies available legally in the Indian legal system. Information Technology Act 2000 is the most important one. Plus, even in the Indian Penal Code, also a lot of sections are available in which these kind of things could be dealt with by the police or law enforcement agencies. Identity theft is very common amongst the youngsters. Many times, many children's identity has been, online identity has been taken over by someone else. For example, X is a college student, his Aadhaar number is taken and stolen by Y, and he uses to obtain a SIM card, and then with the name of the Aadhaar address and name and address. So this is also quite common in many such cases. The most important thing is children sexual abuse material online, which is available online. This is a very serious concern what we are facing across the globe. This is a major concern. The criminal related to website with pornographic images and videos and children and distributed it widely. So these children's videos and other things, they circulate. There are people who have vicarious pleasure viewing this kind of content, child pornography material. There are people who are dealing with these type of things. Cyber stalking is wherein especially young girls generally get harassed online in this cyber stalking. Just one example, we have given a criminal stalks a 16-year-old girl over a period of time, and various online platforms. They will use all the online platforms in which the person is active and start harassing them with continuously, sending messages and various things. Cyberbullying, I have already briefly mentioned. Sometimes even in the peer group also it can happen. The seniors may bully youngsters on the social media or on online platforms. It can happen on the campus various social media platforms. Sometimes it can happen, and many such examples we can find. Defamation is also very common, where a person is defamed online by sending messages or putting some objectionable content about that person online, like Facebook, Twitter, and so many other platforms. Grooming is basically pedophile or these cyber criminals. They try to groom the young children, and slowly and gradually, and then they will ask them to send some nude pictures or nude videos of the person. Online extortion is also very common. Not only for children, even adults are also vulnerable for this one. It can happen in different forms, different. Violation of privacy is also very common. This can happen to the celebrities also. Many times their privacy is violated by these criminals and habitual offenders. Now, what can parents do? This is the most important thing. How we should, educate our children in this matter. Most important thing is that we should start at an early age. As soon as children can use a computing device, it is time to talk to them about using it safely. Nowadays, children are very smart, and even at a very young age, like 5 or 8 years, they start seeing their parents' mobile phones and start using them, fiddling with them, and they pick up the things very fast. So we have to be very careful, and right from the beginning, we have to inculcate and educate them on better, proper use of these electronic devices. Now, the responsible parents are many in this regard. Most important thing is to know what your kids are doing, how they are using their electronic devices, keep an open and honest environment at home. Even your mobile devices, mobile gadgets also should be used judiciously at home. And you should also protect your children's information online. Whatever you have put online, the information should be secure. You should ensure that one. And if any such, if your children come across any such cyberbullying or any other things, it should be tackled and responded properly. The security and privacy features on the devices should be set up properly. And whatever systems are at home, electronic devices, they should be secure. They should have, all the devices should have latest security patches, via antivirus and other things should always be installed properly. And you should always teach your kids to be cautious of suspicious and unsolicited messages which may get online. They should always be cautious about that one, and probably they can inform you, you can verify. Unknown persons' messages should never be opened. Unknown links should never be opened. And nowadays, most of these electronic devices come with various types of parental controls, including the smart TVs. What we get, they have a lot of parental controls installed, inbuilt in them. So these kind of things should be used to ensure that children do not, get exposed to unwanted content or material. Even parents can also, judiciously put some controls on their home Wi-Fi, the various search engines, what the systems are enabled, the various social media apps and games which the system can view or access. And even these film, TV subscriptions, music also, like even Netflix, Amazon, there are parental controls which can be used. Even mobile phones also, same thing can be done. In home Wi-Fi, the best thing is to use the content filter and ensure that the unwanted content is blocked or restricted. And parental controls, filters, various things what are available for Google, Yahoo, Bing can be utilized. These are some of the things which the parent can do. Social media apps and games, turn on privacy controls on social media and gaming apps, restrict in-app purchases. This is another important thing. Many times while purchasing these kind of things, sometimes the children or unknowingly they may give the bank credentials of the parents, so that may also have serious impact. I've already told even Netflix, Amazon, and other things, Hotstar, and these kind of things, they have parental controls. Use the profiles properly and limit your children's screen time. Ensure that unwanted content is not seen by them, and even the bedroom should be clean of these type of electronic devices. It's always psychologically also it is better that TVs or even mobile phones are not carried inside the bedrooms. Whatever this kind of use of electronic devices takes place, it can be in the common areas of the home. Some of the best practices we can go through is create some complex password and change it periodically. I think most of you people may be knowing these kind of things. Online shopping also, I've already told that it should be done very, very cautiously. Otherwise, there is always a possibility that you will fall prey to some cyber, especially with regard to the PIN, OTP details, and all those things should be dealt very carefully. Cyber hygiene at home has to be maintained. That would mean judicious use of these devices. Now I would come to the governmental initiatives, what we are doing from the government. Now I have covered the aspects which the parents have to do, but government also has its responsibilities. There is a provision that under which government can block these such websites containing child sexual material. Government is also spreading awareness regarding the use of such material, how the parental control has to be there. Then Ministry of Home Affairs and other departments like MIT and other things, they are also actively involved in these kind of things. CBSE has also issued guidelines to schools on the safe and secure use of internet. And there is a CCPWC, Center for Cybercrime Prevention Against Women and Children, which actually monitors all these activities on the internet. So therefore, I would urge the parents that any such thing, if it happens, you can report these kind of things online also. Simple procedure is there to lodge a complaint. You can lodge it online, or you can also lodge it physically by walking into police station. We have also set up a cyber lab, and we have also taken private collaboration with our CID, Cybercrime Division. And there is a cybercrime police station in CID. Besides that, we have also set up cyber police stations in each and every district. And in Bangalore City, every DCP division has got a cyber police station. It's called CEN Police Station, CEN, Cyber Economic Offences and Narcotics Police Station. So any person can go and lodge a complaint, and the persons who are there have been very well trained in dealing with this type of complaints and cases. And if any serious complaints are there, sensitive complaints are there, even you can walk into the CID campus on Palace Road, and we also will take up major or important cases, and we will take it to logical end. So thank you. This is a brief presentation just to set the background in proper perspective, so that this discussion we can take it forward.
Thank you so much, Dayanand sir. That was really informative, and you did cover a large area of various things from crimes to how it is being prevented, what can we do as parents and teachers to prevent it, and what is the procedure to go through the whole process of lodging a complaint. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much, sir, for guiding us through what all things, what all precautions that we as lay people can take in order to be vigilant, and as parents, as parents, teachers, and as gonna be teachers, what can be done in this particular issue.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It is a good initiative. Please do continue it forward. Probably many other subjects also you can cover like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening and a wonderful weekend. Thank you.